What's going on, everybody? Techland just dropped a huge update for Dying Light 2 called Community Update number 3 that introduces several things they showed on the roadmap, and today I'm going to be breaking it all down for you. First off, we have weapon repair. Now you can finally repair weapons at Craftmasters. To repair with Craftmasters, it will have a gold cost to it, which will be a higher amount the less durability you have, so make sure to keep an eye on that. Also, if your weapon durability reaches 0, then it will just sit in your inventory unusable until you sell, dismantle, stash, or repair it. You will no longer throw away broken weapons. Now, as far as the Korek charm goes, unfortunately, you'll no longer be able to repair weapons with it. Instead, it applies a buff to damage when your weapon is at 15% or less durability. This is a nice little perk, however, being forced to go to Craftmasters to repair weapons is a little disappointing. Next, enemies will drop their weapons. This is a nice little addition that has been requested for quite a while now. It will generally be lower quality weapons, but you can find better weapons from tougher enemies like the legendary encounters. As I stated in my previous video, we're finally getting gear and weapon mod dismantling. They introduced weapon dismantling a few updates ago, so this has been something we've been waiting for a while. Now, if you were thinking that you'd be able to actually finally get rid of all your extra DLC and New Game Plus items, then you'd be wrong. Unfortunately, it does not work for those specific items. Hopefully they put a hotfix out that will change that, but as of right now, it will not work on the DLC and New Game Plus items. What is great though is that you can change the mods on your favorite weapons without having to find a new one, and you get some of those resources back when you do that. They also added a new weapon rarity called Exotic. These will be a red color and have higher damage and durability than what you can normally find. What's special about these weapons is that they'll have unique abilities like increased damage with headshots, chance to deal double damage, and chance to stun enemies when hitting them. Also, side note, difficulty does not affect the drop chance of weapons, so playing on a harder difficulty does nothing for this. I will have another video going over how to get them, but they are mostly going to be found in Pilgrim Outpost loot boxes, daily and weekly bounty loot boxes, legend level rewards, as well as a reward for Replayable Gre Anomalies. That's right, the Repeatable Gre Anomalies are finally coming to the game. This was something that was very disappointing when playing the game initially since they didn't respond. Now when you replay the fight, you'll get better rewards as well as it being more difficult to encounter them the first time. New enemy variants have been added as well. With this update, Howlers will now be out during the day and can cause virals to spawn, as well as applying some kind of debuff to you if you're too close to them. There will also be armored virals, which will make fighting them a bit more difficult since they have extra layer of protection. They also mentioned that there will be an electric variant of both virals and regular fighters. This is a good start, and I know they'll be adding more later on. I mentioned this in my previous video, but finishers are finally in the game. For now, there's only 7, but more will be added later on. They work based on the stamina of an enemy, so using weapons that do stamina damage could cause these to occur more often. Maybe this means that the Mistress Sword will finally be a useful Easter egg weapon. Next, we finally have an FOV slider for the Xbox Series S. This has been asked for since day 1 pretty much, and it's only been available for PC, PlayStation 5, and Series X users. I wouldn't count on this being available for PS4 or Xbox One anytime soon, if at all, since the game already doesn't run well on those systems. Speaking of PlayStation, PS4 and PS5 were supposed to be getting cross-save, but there's no mention of it in the patch notes. Hopefully this gets added in the next patch, as PlayStation users have been asking for this for a long time now. The Halloween event is here, which I'll detail in another video. They're bringing back Baka as well as the pumpkin tiles and introducing witch banshees. New bundles were added to the game with this update, which include the Banu Hakim bundle that we got as a reward for the previous event. The weapon has a bleed effect, and the charm gives increased charging of weapon mods when equipped. Then we have the Scarecrow bundle, which looks absolutely amazing. You get the Soul Harvester Scythe, which gives you increased damage at night. Wearing the gear pieces will also give you increased resistance against infected as well. Next is the free bundle called the Plague bundle. I really like the look of this one. You get the Plague Cane, which has a toxic effect, and the gear items give you increased poison resistance. After that is the Bruja bundle. This is part of the crossover with Vampire the Masquerade. The weapon gives you a bleeding effect, and the charm increases your damage based on your current HP. Finally, we have the Tremere bundle, which is also part of the crossover. The weapon gives a bleeding effect, and the charm heals you as you damage enemies. This will probably be super broken in combination with regen and toughness boosters. Some other things they added to the game are more knife animations, as well as 4 new knife weapons, food and snacks that can be found around the city to replenish your health, improvements on the rain and storm effects, stash sorting options, color grading improvements, outfits for completing the Carrier's quest line, and text chat for PC. Lastly, before going into the fixes, they talk about legend level improvements. You'll now be able to reset your legend points to respec if you made the wrong choice when leveling up. This is not helpful for max level players since it only resets your points and not your levels. Some of the other tweaks they're making to legend levels are increased XP from different sources, the skills are actually being buffed, the Joker skill now applies to thrown weapons, and now you can exchange trophies for legend points. The last one I can see getting exploited very easily just by duplicating trophies to the max and trading them back and forth with a friend until you're both at max level. Now onto the fixes. For co-op, the only thing mentioned is synchronized animation coordination and timing of volatiles shooting projectiles. I feel like there's a lot more pressing issues with co-op to fix before this, but hopefully that can be addressed in the next update. For the gameplay fixes, hags will now react to being hit properly. This was a big problem before, as you would hit them a lot, but the game wouldn't count it, making the fights take longer than necessary. A charge time has been added to the weapon throw, which is a great addition since so many people would accidentally throw and lose their favorite weapons when they introduced that feature. There was an exploit that was patched that allowed players to farm infected trophies in a level 4 chase while being in a certain spot. I feel like this could be related to the magic door farm, so if anyone can test that to see if it is, then let me know in the comments below. Volatiles have been tweaked to take less amount of hits with stronger weapons. This is good because it did get a little annoying that with non-glitched weapons, it would take 6 hits no matter what. This should make them easier to deal with if you have good weapons. They also fixed an issue where the crafted weapons from a craftmaster were giving lower damage than they should have, so now the blueprints are going to be even more worth it since you'll be getting increased damage from what it used to be. Alongside this, they rebalanced the damage from previous in-game event and bundle weapons. A nice little touch is that now you can detach from a falling zombie that you tackled off a building so you don't have to hit the ground as well. Honestly, I almost never use this feature, but for those that do, it's pretty useful. For technical fixes, switching from DX12 to DX11 now correctly applies the changes. They also fixed controller vibrations on all platforms, optimized some 3D assets, and now moving items to the stash will no longer reset the inventory list to the top. I'm super happy for that last one, as it got very annoying to be working with something in accessories or consumables and have to scroll all the way back down every time to continue what I was doing. For the UI fixes, they fixed some localization issues, adjusted the size of blueprint icons, added the ability to disable bow and crossbow reticle in the HUD settings, and added the option to disable the hit mark when hitting enemies. As you can tell, there are a few things not included in this update from the roadmap. This is fine, as not everything was going to be included in a single update and would take 2 or 3 to add it all. Due to this, there are no guns in the game yet. Other things like the co-op missions and the VNC tower raid also haven't been added, and we're still waiting for Night Runner tools to be added to New Game Plus. Overall, there's a lot of good things added in this update, and I can see that Techland is taking the right steps to make the game even better. What are your thoughts on this update? Do you like the changes that were made, or would you rather wait for the upcoming content yet to be added to the game? Let me know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to like, subscribe, and click the bell for notifications. Thanks for watching. See you next time.